Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant on Unhuman, a new high school zombie movie uh, from the makers of, well, it's Blumhouse. So those guys do pretty good horror movies. You got a nice cast, kind of a throwback 80s type character, and it looks to be a bloody, gory good time. Um, So let's look at it. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy Horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 8. I will be in Mullica Hill at the Art and Craft Show this Saturday. See you there. It's going to be a nice day. Okay. So they go on a field trip to, I'm not sure exactly, a hothouse, some kind of flower related deal. They're in an old style bus with no seatbelts, of course, and they end up in a crash because I think they run into one of the zombies and explodes on and blinds the driver, and then the teacher gets stupidly opens the door. He gets killed by a zombie, and we're off and running in Zombieland. It's a chemical based attack. They announced it on the radio, a chemical based attack. This feels a little bit 80s in that it's following the tropes of the 80s. They even got the first zombie's like kind of a punk heavy metal kid. I don't know. So they end up running into a deserted building, I guess, and there's a kid who plays Dungeons and Dragons, an athlete, it's like a Breakfast Club lineup here. I think this is the bus driver who comes to kill them. So it's kind of low budget. I think this is where the athlete dies. But by the end of the movie, everybody's a zombie, as always, and they're fighting in this abandoned house, I guess. And they're trying to fight zombies, but they're not particularly good at it. We'll have this club. The dead will have this club for breakfast. So get it? It's like a Breakfast Club thing. So I think they were thinking of 80s movies while they were making this. June 3rd, buy it on digital. And it's still got a little bit of the woke diversity in the cast, but that's fine. Doesn't seem to be the point of the movie. People seem to be equal prey. You just pick a character who's going to be the survivor, essentially. This is the cheerleader. She definitely gets killed. She definitely kills. I think. Yeah, he dies, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. She's the smart one, right? She's going to be the one who organizes people. And everybody else just dies. I think he probably dies too. The athlete, I think, definitely dies. I think this is him in the trailer with the bus driver. Bus driver having turned into a zombie. And so it's a bit low budget. It's a dumb shot to put in this thing, but it's going to have what it normally has. Screams and chills and zombies and people fighting and, clever moments, clever lines where they're saying funny stuff. Here she is rolling her eyes, one of the survivors. So, it looks okay. Unhuman. Meh. It's an okay title. I'm not going to bash the title too much. So it looks like it follows a standard zombie lineup, as we're all aware of. First act, you establish all the characters, what they'd normally be doing in the situation. In this case, they're in the middle of a field trip when the zombie outbreak happens. Zombie outbreak happens. This time it's a chemical attack, not unlike not Night of the Living Dead. What's the other one? Oh gosh, I can't think of the punk one. You know the one I'm talking about. I can't think of the name. That was sort of a chemical thing. It was the premise of that movie was they sprayed a chemical to kill marijuana plants, and that starts the zombie plague. This one, it's a chemical attack, whatever that means. But as with most zombie movies, they don't really get into it. They don't show a lot of the zombies. Not really. And they don't look particularly zombie-like. People are kind of like blood splattered in points. I mean, this is where the students find the abandoned house, and then we got to get weapons. This is the biggest blood splatter. But even these guys, they turn into zombies, but they're like fresh zombies, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, it looks fun. It looks like a Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club meets zombies. I think that's the way it was probably pitched. Something similar to that. Yeah, so that first act, you get to know all the characters. Then the zombie outbreak happens, and that's the end of the first act. Right? They don't know what to do. What the hell is this? They end up in this house, and then they're trying to figure out how are they going to survive. Second act is all about them surviving and figuring out how to kill the zombies and dealing with problems that they may have set up for themselves in the first act, like with the bus driver chasing them, the teacher chasing them, and they have to kill him. Those two guys too. I don't know if these guys... I don't think this guy was on the trip, so maybe he's another... He's from, like, maybe he worked at the, you know, the flower place, whatever they were going. Botanical garden, that's what I was trying to think of. And so the second act is mostly them trying to survive. One by one, they're getting picked off. And the girl here on the right becomes the main sort of hero that's going to save everybody. And they end up in the third act, probably trapped in the building for the night with more zombies than they can handle. They come up with a more coherent plan. They execute it. People still die, but in the end, she and a couple of others probably live. So, yeah, here's the guy who probably gets bit and is dying? Maybe? I don't know. All these guys look pretty bloody. Maybe this is the next day and all these guys survive? I kind of doubt it. This, I think this is the athlete. Maybe he survives? I don't know. The guy with the Letterman jacket looked like he was dead. I don't know. Were these kids all on the trip? But I like movies like this. I like shots like this because it indicates there's an emphasis on the characters. Right? The only downside I say of this is I wish we could see more of the zombies. A little bit more of them in the trailer. Just enough so we could see a zombie. Because they're fun, you know? It's fun to see the zombies. But maybe they're, I don't know, maybe they're trying to de-emphasize that for some reason. Unhuman is not it's not a bad title, I guess. So, I mean, I'd watch this. But you know me, I love zombie movies. Oh, I love them. I watch them all the time. So, I would totally watch this. It's going right to digital. Feels a little low budget, but a lot of cast members. A lot of cast here. So, yeah. I mean, if this showed up on my streaming platforms, I'd totally watch it. Totally. Will it be good? I mean, it looks entertaining. It looks competently done. I don't like the music. The music's a little harsh. I like the look of the trailer. You know, first one that most likely to die, most likely to survive. Like, that's kind of like a high school thing. So that's cool. I like that look. It's kind of weird they end up in an abandoned building, but, you know, it's a low-budget movie. They needed to do that to get them in a place they had control over that they could stay for most of the movie. So they wouldn't have to keep changing locations. Because, I mean, if there was a zombie outbreak, it would just be chaos. People would be running everywhere. You wouldn't be able to control it, right? It wouldn't be hordes of zombies. It would just be absolute chaos. I think the only movie that really captured it was the remake of Dawn of the Dead, right? Because you had that scene of suburbia. It's just everyone's just going nuts, and you could just see in these big sweeping shots. Some cars are crashing. EMTs are struggling with people who are turning into zombies. People are being chased. It's just absolute mayhem. Because it's like everybody not knowing what's going on all at once. Whereas this, you know, in a low budget, you can't afford those giant sweeping shots of an entire neighborhood with explosions going off and everything like that. So, but I like the pitch. I mean, Breakfast Club meets zombies. Yeah. I mean, the Breakfast Club it's long in the rear view, but it was pretty universal at its time. People still talk about it who are my age, because it's still the whole thing of high school cliques still exist. They're just different. They're just a little different now. So, yeah, Unhuman. Look for it. What did we say? June? I think June 3rd. Unhuman. So I think it'll be fun. Don't watch it for the music, I would say. And that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. Today's takes are a Hollywoke hot take and a news blast. We'll see you in the next one.